guest who comes highly recommended from a lot of my sources, joining us to break down his intel and contacts. They are gearing up for a civil war in this country, not just martial law. We're going to break that down with our guest, Doug Hagmann, coming up in the next segment. If you're a Prisonplanet.tv viewer, you'll be able to also see that in living color there in a situation room. So that is all coming up. And we'll have open phones the last 20, 30 minutes with our guest. And then in the third hour, I've got to get into self-defense, even with your fists. They're trying to ban it in England and banning people coming into the country to teach self-defense courses, like former Navy SEAL Tim Larkin. I want to get him on the show, by the way. So that's all coming up. There's a lot of news. There's some good news. Six-term Senate veteran Lugar, defeated in Indiana primary. And again, he's one of these people that just is an androgynous political individual. He's not Republican, he's not Democrat, he's not left, he's not right. Just another one of these establishment people. And the Ron Paul-style Tea Party just ran him out of Dodge. So that's happening, and it's happening. And by the way, Ron Paul's getting 5, 10, 12,000 people everywhere he goes. There's candidates running everywhere on libertarian constitutional ideas. Very, very exciting. So the Ron Paul revolution is winning, and they're admitting that he's going to be able to really upset the delegate process with the other Bain Capital candidate, Obama's Bain Capital Finance, and so is Mittens Romney. So all of that is going on. We're going to be breaking that down. There's a bunch of TSA news. Also, blind Chinese dissident's crime. He challenged China's one-child policy. And I haven't even gotten into the latest underwear bombing plot, where it turns out CIA foiled its own plot, and then they spun that to incredible job. My goodness, he was a double agent, like the 7/7 mastermind. A SWAT was the MI6 double asset. I've got those articles. We're going to cover that in the third hour. Also, U.S. secretly releasing Taliban prisoners from Bagram prison, to form the fake synthetic opposition. These are training camps to create synthetic terrorists to then kill U.S. troops, because you've got to have somebody fighting back. And to send to Pakistan to destabilize them. That is all coming up as well. And yes, the Democrats are moving. Congressional Democrats introduced an amendment to outlaw self-defense. You can't make this stuff up. That is all coming up in the next hour. And, of course, our top story is that the Army spokesperson, one of the head Army spokespersons, or the head at this particular base, has come out, and we have the email and phone number and all that for you on Infowars.com, and said, we do have re-education camps, but that's for overseas. And the preface of the document says overseas or domestically, and U.S. citizens, and says the president can authorize us doing this to citizens. Well, they've already passed laws and executive orders saying the president can suspend all this. The president says he can kill U.S. citizens whenever he wants. The NDAA, all of this. So stop living in denial. It's like 6, 7 years ago, I'll tell you, 15 years ago, the NSA was listening to you without warrants. Then Bush got caught, and it was all shocking. Now the head of the CIA just says, hey, all your new appliances have bugs in them. We're watching you. Smart meters. There's no Fourth Amendment. He said, the Fourth Amendment doesn't mean what it used to. But I'm still a kook for talking about it. There's no way they listen to us and track us without warrants. That's for Al-Qaeda. You mean the Al-Qaeda they give Libya and Syria and everywhere else? You mean that Al-Qaeda? But hey, I got to say, good job, LouRockwell.com. They've come out with a big article basically breaking down the fact that it was more likely that Obama had the Easter Bunny or the Loch Ness Monster killed a year ago there in Pakistan than they killed bin Laden. So people are just not, you got certified, known professional liars caught engaged in every crime you can imagine. The Justice Department publicly being paid off by big banks to be able to rob people. Justice Department shipping hand grenades, machine guns to gangs all over the U.S., not just Mexico and Honduras. Total criminals and hundreds of millions to fake energy companies. And we're supposed to trust what certified criminals say? All right, for the rest of this hour, a little bit into the next hour, Doug Hagmann is going to be our guest. He has a long bio, but the best thing to do is to go over to his website. We'll put that up on screen for viewers, not just radio listeners. Douglas J. Hagmann is a founder and director of the Northeast Intelligence Network and CEO of a multi-state licensed private investigative agency serving more than many Fortune 500 clients, a 27-year veteran of conducting investigations in the private sector. He has logged over 50,000 hours of covert surveillance in his career and is the author of Tactical Surveillance. He is a member of the International Counter-Terrorism Officers Association and possesses many law enforcement-related training certifications. He has been used as an operational asset by the U.S. Department of Justice, the FBI, as well as the Pennsylvania and New York State police agencies. Hagmann has performed over 8,000 civil and criminal investigations throughout the United States and is also certified in forensic discipline of bloodstain pattern analysis. During his career, Hagmann has developed numerous federal enforcement contacts and has become aware of irregularities within the U.S. government. He attempts to inform the public of what is taking place inside the government through his regular appearances on Coast to Coast AM and numerous other syndicated radio talk shows across the U.S. In addition to his website, he is senior contributor to Canada's Free Press, and he also is routinely on with Neil Cavito on Fox. And I'll just leave it at that. He's also the co-host of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. And I saw this article last week, and I keep meaning to get him on, but just years go by like seconds now, as everybody knows. I mean, years go by like weeks, basically, to be technical. It's just amazing. But I saw this article, "We are preparing for mass civil war," says DHS informant. And I saw that and then read some other reports coming out from Mr. Hagmann. I wanted to get him on to break this down for us and tell us what his sources are telling him. I mean, we obviously see 450 million 40 cal bullets being bought, hundreds of millions of others, agencies that shouldn't even be armed getting riot shotguns, police stations being hardened in government documents ahead of civil unrest, the military's training even mechanics in civil unrest in every branch, military checkpoints, TSA checkpoints, admissions for preparations for civil unrest, massive drills everywhere to acclimate. And then you have the NDAA, signal disappear citizens. We have this new FEMA camp, re-education camp document that the Army now confirms today is real. Yeah, folks, it's real, okay? And we have Army sources that said, yeah, it's in there. It says it's classified. And then we had people calling up saying, well, it's actually posted here. Yeah, if you had the classification to log in and get it. So all of that's going on. Doug, tell us about your website a little bit and how folks go to that. And then tell us about yourself and then your awakening to the progression of what's happened in this country. And, of course, the big news. What are they gearing up for?
Well, thanks, Alex. And thank you very much for that fine introduction. Most of all, I'm very proud. I guess my proudest accomplishment is to be an info warrior, classify myself as an info warrior. Follow your website, follow your information. You're 100% right on all the time. My website is homelandsecurityus.com. Not affiliated with any government agency. We are a private, independent, investigative agency. That's who we are. We also have a nightly radio broadcast called the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. Attempt to emulate you, Alex, in the attempt to spread the information that we've been finding out lately about what is going on, what is taking place, in our case, behind FEMA Region 3. We'll say we're deep inside FEMA Region 3. But to educate the population as to what's taking place with respect to our government, which is just totally gone berserk now. I mean, we have, Alex, everything that you have said in your programs over the last several years, since I've started listening, has come to pass. When people were calling you crazy for what you were saying, and people were saying, nah, it can't be. It's coming to pass right now. We're seeing it. We're verifying it. We've got people talking to us saying, hey, listen to Alex. Listen to what Alex is saying. And people coming to us and saying, look, we've got information for you. And here it is. And here's what's taking place. What's taking place is the United States government, the Department of Homeland Security, is turning inward on the American people. They are declaring war on the American people. And that's what it is, Alex. That's exactly what it is. People wonder why the NDAA was passed. People wonder why, the various executive orders were passed. People wonder why the ammunition was purchased. People have a tendency to look at things in vacuums, but when you start connecting the dots, you can see what's taking place.
Mobile armored pillboxes?
Yes. And you've pointed this out, and you've been at the tip of the spear pointing this out. And I got to tell you, frankly, okay, as an investigator for 27 years, I've had a lot of doubts. I had a lot of doubts about the legitimacy of this information. And I fell for that right-left paradigm, that fictitious right-left paradigm. Now I've seen, look, it's all been a farce. It's first of all, TSA is nothing more than security theater at this point. We are living in an Orwellian dream at this point, and this has nothing to do about security. Everything to do about control of the American populace and conditioning of the American populace. Everything you've been talking about in your program, this is coming to pass.
Well, amazing, and I mean, thank you for supporting the broadcast. I just ran into the information firsthand by going to some drills 15, 16 years ago and then discovered all this. But getting into all of your contacts, because you brought out a lot of amazing information on a routine basis, what are your contacts telling you now about the acceleration of all of this?
I've got one contact in particular that I've been in contact with. I've known since 1979. A good friend of mine. I'll leave it at that. He works very close to he works within the complex of the DHS, under the umbrella of the DHS. Let's put it that way. And he's aware of information that has been developing over the last, we'll say, 2 years, but has been accelerating over the last several months to the extent that what Obama is planning on doing. I mean, Obama can see the writing on the wall. There's dissatisfaction. There's unemployment. There's people that are going hungry in this country. There's civil discord. All of this is taking place. He can see the writing on the wall. It doesn't look good for his election. But these people have no plans on leaving, Alex. And I'm telling you right now, the people who rioted in the 1960s, the Bill Ayers and the Bernardine Dorns, who were actually the protesters in the 60s and early 70s, the Weather Underground, these are the people who Obama has by his side right now. These are the people who are my sources saying, look, what these people are doing. For example, Trayvon Martin, they're using this as a catalyst for racial unrest.
The NBC edited the tape to make it sound racist, and the Justice Department got caught with moles fomenting the new Black Panthers in people. I mean, they really are trying to get a race war.
Exactly, they are, and they're working toward that goal, but they're also looking toward the economic factors, and this is something that's so important that people really need to understand. What's going on in Europe right now, today, is coming to America. We're facing this massive hyperinflation, or this massive economic collapse in this country. I mean, your guest, Gerald Celente, right on the money with his information. This is coming to America, and I'll tell you what, DHS knows this. That they know that they can't stop this. They know that the dollar is going to collapse. They know that because of this, there's going to be class warfare, and that's the other leg of the table. And so when you have the racial component combined with the economic component, the class warfare, I'm going to tell you, they're expecting riots. They're expecting, not only expecting it, but they're seeding they're actually seeding it. For example, they've got, my source is telling me, according to the information that he's found, for example, Louis Farrakhan and others, now he would not name others, but others are on the payroll of the CIA. This is what my source is saying, allegedly, okay? Allegedly, Farrakhan is on the payroll of the CIA. Why? For what purpose? Well, to enhance and to facilitate the discord, the racial discord in this country. That's what's taking place. But they know they can't stop the collapse of the dollar. Obama, Bernanke working together to tank the dollar, the U.S. dollar, on purpose. I mean, they are destroying this country, and they're not going to leave until they're done. Well, when I say destroying the country, they're fundamentally changing the country, of course, in the words of Obama, changing it to a Marxist society.
Which is destroying the country.
Exactly. It's just, and my source is telling me this. Look, in 1965, the Watts riots, 34 dead, 1,000 injured. In 68, the 68 riots, I guess we had, I don't know, close to 100 dead. In the Rodney King riots, we had 53 dead, $1 billion in property damage. The riots that are coming this summer, that are expected this summer, that are going to be enhanced by the actions of the government this summer, and you've pointed a lot of this stuff out. People need to listen to you very carefully, because you give a lot of facts out. But it's amazing. Now, they're going to pale in comparison to what's coming this summer, if the timetable is correct.